Section 17, Legal Hotline Q&A, Arizona Commissioner's Standards, Requirements for Licensees. Introduction, follow the money, or risk the license. Jessica had heard it over and over, follow the money. But in real estate, that phrase means something very specific. It's not just about earning commission, it's about how that commission is earned, who it's paid to, and how it's disclosed. She started noticing that many of the biggest compliance issues weren't about contracts or disclosures. They were about compensation. Who gets paid, when they get paid, how they get paid. This section dives into real legal hotline scenarios that all revolve around one critical theme. If the money is handled wrong, everything else can fall apart. Referral fees to unlicensed individuals. Absolutely not a broker closes a deal, and afterward, someone comes forward claiming they referred the transaction and wants a portion of the commission. The person is not licensed. Can the broker pay them? No. Arizona law is very clear. Paying compensation to an unlicensed individual for real estate activity is a violation. This includes referral fees, bonuses, or any type of commission tied to a transaction. A common real-world example is when a friend, past client, or business contact sends a lead and expects to be thanked financially after closing. Even if the referral was legitimate, if that person is not licensed, the broker cannot pay them. Jessica realized this is one of the easiest traps to fall into. It feels harmless, even fair, but it's a direct violation that can lead to disciplinary action. Earning a commission. While licensed, timing matters. An agent refers a deal and expects to be paid at closing, but their license expires before the transaction closes. They do not plan to renew. Can they still be paid? Yes. If the commission was earned while the agent was actively licensed, the broker is required to pay it, even if the license expires before closing. This is a key distinction. The timing of when the work was performed matters more than the closing date. For example, if an agent shows property, negotiates terms, or makes a referral while licensed, they have earned that commission. The payment can come later, even if they are no longer active. Jessica realized this protects agents who leave the business or change roles, but it also reinforces that all work must be done while properly licensed. Out-of-country referrals. When unlicensed is allowed. An Arizona broker lists a property in Mexico. An unlicensed individual in Mexico refers a buyer. Can the broker pay a referral fee? Yes, because Mexico does not require real estate licensing in the same way Arizona does. Under Arizona law, brokers can generally only pay referral fees to licensed individuals. However, if the referral comes from a jurisdiction that does not require licensing, payment may be allowed. This is a unique exception and highlights how important it is to understand where the activity is taking place. Jessica realized that not all rules are universal, but they must always be understood before acting. Commission agreements. If it's not in writing, it's at risk. An agent is working with a buyer on a property that is not listed in the MLS. There is no clear agreement for commission. How does the agent ensure they get paid? By having a written agreement. The best protection is a buyer-broker employment agreement, where the buyer agrees to compensate the agent directly if necessary. Another approach is to include a request for commission in the purchase offer submitted to the seller or developer. A real-world example is working with new construction builders. Many builders will pay commission, but not all. Without a written agreement, the agent risks doing all the work and receiving nothing. Jessica learned quickly, if the commission isn't documented, it isn't protected. Commission disputes, don't let them kill the deal. Arizona rules make it clear that licensees should not allow commission disputes to interfere with a transaction. For example, if two brokers disagree over commission splits, they cannot delay or jeopardize the closing while arguing over payment. They still have the right to pursue their commission legally, but the transaction must move forward. Jessica saw how emotions can get involved when money is on the line. But professionalism requires keeping the client's transaction first. Creative deals, LLC sales, still earn commission. A property is listed and the broker finds a buyer. Instead of purchasing the property directly, the buyer purchases 100% of the ownership interest in the LLC that owns the property. The seller refuses to pay commission, arguing that the property itself was not sold. Is the broker entitled to commission? Yes. Even though the structure changed, the outcome is the same. The buyer acquired the property through ownership of the LLC. This is a great example of how creative deal structures do not eliminate commission obligations when the broker has performed their duties. Jessica realized that understanding the substance of a transaction, not just the form, is critical. Commission rebates. Transparency is everything. An agent advertises, "Close with me and receive a $500 gift card after closing." Can they do this? Probably not in that form. While commission rebates are allowed, they must be properly structured and disclosed. The safest method is to provide the rebate as a credit on the closing disclosure or settlement statement, clearly identifying who is providing the credit. Another best practice is to disclose the rebate in the purchase contract itself. For example, instead of offering a gift card after closing, the agent could structure it as a closing cost credit and disclose it properly. Jessica realized that rebates are not illegal, but they must be fully transparent and documented. Real-world example, the thank you bonus, that backfired. An agent received a referral from a past client and promised them a thank you bonus after closing. The client was not licensed. The agent followed through and paid them. Later, during an audit, the payment was discovered. What started as a simple gesture of appreciation became a compliance violation. This is one of the most common mistakes in the industry, rewarding referrals without understanding the legal limits. Bringing it all together. Money must follow the rules. Every scenario in this section comes back to one principle. Compensation in real estate is highly regulated. You cannot pay just anyone. You cannot receive money from just anyone. You cannot structure deals however you want. Everything must follow Arizona law and be properly disclosed. Jessica realized that mastering contracts and negotiations is important, but mastering how money flows through a transaction is what protects your license. Because in this business, it's not just about closing deals, it's about getting paid the right way. Online discussion. 1. Why does Arizona prohibit paying referral fees to unlicensed individuals? Answer: to ensure that only licensed professionals are compensated for real estate activity, protecting the public and maintaining industry standards. 2. What is the biggest risk of not having a written commission agreement? Answer: the agent may not be legally entitled to compensation, even if they perform the work, leading to financial loss and disputes. 3. Why must commission rebates be disclosed on the closing disclosure or settlement statement? Answer: to ensure transparency in the transaction and prevent hidden incentives that could violate RESPA or Arizona regulations.